Hello and welcome to Keto Corner. I'm Lynn. Today I'm sharing 10 lessons I've learned since starting keto and intermittent fasting 2 years ago. It's been such an incredible journey, and at the very beginning I was so apprehensive, and I now sort of shudder at that because even though I thought everything that was being said about keto and intermittent fasting was too good to be true, it really is true, and it really is amazing, and I'm so glad that I did it. But here's the 10 lessons that I've learned along the way. Number one is that keto and intermittent fasting is easier than I ever thought it would be. And I'm talking mostly about the fasting part, because I've done a lot of food changes over the years. We made a big diet change, a lot of years ago, like 15 years ago. And so I know what that kind of feels like, and I know I can do that, so I have confidence around that. But the thing I didn't really have confidence around was the fasting. And the reason why is because during Lent, I would often give up eating in between meals, or even cutting back to 2 meals. I did a little bit of that during Lent. And I did it a number of years, like not all the time, but enough to know that I wasn't terribly good at it. And so I was very concerned about that component. But the evidence was so compelling, I really wanted to give it a try. Number 2, keto is tastier than I thought it would be. I didn't, giving up all grains and knowing it's sugar-free, a sugar-free diet, had me a little concerned. Like, am I going to be able to sustain this? Will I really be okay with this? And I have to say, the keto sweeteners kind of surprised me. I still don't do a lot of sweets. I try to keep dessert to the weekend. I don't try to do a lot of sweetness, but that had already been kind of my lifestyle before keto and intermittent fasting. But I will say the keto sweeteners are nice. I do enjoy them. I haven't had to kick sweetness, out of my life altogether at all. And I really don't miss the grains. And I have to say the grains, I never felt very good on grains. So I sort of happily said goodbye to those. Didn't really, I might have missed it a little bit in the beginning, but I was very quickly fine with those. And I just want to mention that I don't really like chemical sweeteners. So when I say I liked the keto sweeteners, I am not referring to Splenda and Sweet and Low and those chemical-based sweeteners. The keto sweeteners are different from that. So number 3, palate changes. I never would have guessed that my palate would change the way that it did. And what happened? Well, I just started, as I started doing keto, I would say within 3 months, I was just craving salads, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I was craving all of these things in a way that I never dreamed possible, and enjoying them in a way that I never dreamed possible. So I do think that as you're getting into keto and intermittent fasting, your palate is going to change. So that's number 3. Number 4, insulin management is a really big deal. So when I was studying for my certification to be a keto and fasting coach, I had to learn a lot about insulin. And it is amazing what this hormone does to your body. And if you can manage it, it is a game changer. It will totally change your life. It changed mine, and I've read and listened to a bazillion testimonies. It is changing lots of people's lives. So that is the key, insulin management. And how do you do that? You keep carbs managed as well. When you manage your carbs, you manage insulin. So it's pretty simple, and it's a really big deal. Okay, number 5, hair loss. I experienced hair loss. I would say most of that happened within the first 6 months of doing keto. And I kind of jumped into, once I discovered fasting wasn't going to be painful, I loved the idea of autophagy and healing. I sort of became pretty aggressive about it. And I was really missing some things in my diet. And so that is one thing that can be real. The hair loss can be real. And I've listened to a lot of testimonies of women talking about this. We tend to be more hormonally sensitive and wired, and so for us, I think that's where the hair loss can come in, and we have to manage minerals in a very special way, I think. So, all right, so that's number 5. Number 6, there are things that need to go up when you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, and or at least be managed well. For me, and I think my hair loss had everything to do with these items. Protein needs to be up. I think I had too little protein. When you go down to eating 2 meals a day, you have to be conscious of getting enough protein in. You know, protein is what builds your muscle. It builds your bone. I mean, you need the protein is the substance that builds your hair. And so you need to have adequate amounts of protein. Also minerals. So you can get minerals from vegetables. So by adding a lot of vegetables into your diet, you know, you'll get a wide variety of minerals and you get a lot of minerals. The other way is to make sure you're getting enough high mineral salt. So I'm talking about either a good Himalayan salt or a Celtic sea salt. Make sure you're getting enough of these. These will help to keep those trace minerals up in your body, and you really need those for doing this diet. Another one is B vitamins. Now, I have always felt my whole life that I was really kind of low on B vitamins, and there's always been kind of this struggle between kind of trying to reduce grains and getting B vitamins. But the answer for me in this lifestyle has been taking nutritional yeast. So I take a tablespoon of nutritional yeast probably 2 to 3 times a day, and it has really impacted my energy. And the B vitamins are so necessary for so many things. And yes, you can get it from beef and you can get it from meat, but the nutritional yeast is an excellent source of it. It sort of tastes yeasty, kind of like bread, so I don't at all mind taking it. Some people sprinkle it on things. I tend to just take it right off of a spoon. So anyway, so that, and then lastly, the other thing that needs to go up is water. So when you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, your fuel source, your energy is coming from fat. The fat that's in your meat, any fats that you're using in your salad dressings, the avocados. So this is your energy source. And when that's your energy source, you don't hold on to water the way you do with carbohydrates. When carbohydrates or glucose is your energy source, you hold on to water at the rate of like 3 times. And you also hold on to sodium. So that's why you need the extra salt and you need water. If you are thirsty when you're doing keto or intermittent fasting, drink. You know, drink to satisfaction. When you feel satisfied, and then maybe even a little bit more would be good. So that's that. Then number 7, counting carbs, even though this is a carb management diet, is really not necessary. You can start this diet with just a good keto food list, and you're off and running. Some people love to count, and that's great. Some people don't. Some people either are so lacking in energy, they're sick. They just don't have it in them to want to track. You know, some people are really goal-oriented and like to see those numbers coming in. And, you know, they really want to manage their carbohydrates in a scientific way that makes them feel they're really engaged and they're doing it. But it's not necessary. It is not necessary. What is necessary is to eat the foods that are on a good keto food list. And I have one that I'm happily willing to share if you would want one. Okay, so that's number 7. Number 8 is that the benefits of this diet are real. Not only are they real, they're sustainable. And not only are they sustainable, but you can come by them quickly. If you jump into that food list and you start eating off of that food list and practicing some really basic, like the lowest level of intermittent fasting, you're going to start to notice benefits. It does vary. It depends on how much healing you have to do. Because usually some healing is going to take place before there's weight loss, before you start noticing things. So if there's a lot of underlying healing that needs to take place, you know, it will take just a tiny bit longer, but all of these things come pretty quickly, and it really is astonishing. And so that's why it was a real lesson for me. Sometimes what sounds too good to be true can actually be true. And I love it. All right. Number 9, this is a big one. Keto varies. So there's sort of a spectrum for keto. You can be carnivore keto on one end of the spectrum, and on the other end of the spectrum is a vegetarian form of keto. So these are kind of the two ends, and in the middle is a more traditional form for keto in intermittent fasting, and that's really where I was trained. That's really what I know best. I am doing a carnivore week this week to test it out and see what that's like, so I'll share that in another video. So we have this spectrum, and I will say that even within the carnivore spectrum and even within the vegan, the keto spectrum, and in the middle, in the more traditional, both plant and animal-based keto, there's a lot of variation, you know, so that's just the way it is, and all of these people are having results, good results. So I just want to put that out there. That's a variation. The other thing is that there's a lot of variety just within the, like I said, the traditional keto version. So there's what I would call the healthy keto, which is what I follow. And why do I follow it? Well, I had made substantial dietary changes 15 years ago. And all of that was geared towards more healthy products. You know, so it was, you know, raw milk in the dairy realm. It was being very careful about dairy choices. You know, I wanted to eat meat that was raised on pastures with sunshine and organic grass to eat. And and eggs that were that came from chickens that were outside. So that was the change that I made 15 years ago. So when I jumped into keto, I took that mindset right along with me and desired greatly to do a healthy keto. However, that being said, there's also lazy keto. Lazy keto is where you just follow that food list and you just get up and running and not so concerned about quality, maybe a little bit, but you just get up and running. There's also dirty keto, and dirty keto is where you really don't care about the quality of the ingredients at all. So someone coming from a standard American diet could jump into this and definitely have results. The results are coming from the insulin and the carb management. Okay, and it's a great place to start for someone that's coming from that background. And then in the more strict, there's a strict version of keto too, where the macros are kind of like sort of drilled into your head, and you do count your carbs, and you are looking at calories. So that's another kind of version. And I will say, for those folks, if you've been eating a standard American diet and you jump into the kind of lazy, dirty version of keto, it's totally fine. And I will say, as I read testimonies and listen to people talk about their experience, people who start there often start to move towards a healthier version. Once you start feeling better, you just start discerning better, and you start thinking more about the ingredients you're eating. And you may not change everything, and maybe you do it for years, but I'm just saying, I've noticed that. If you know the couple, the Keto Connect couple, and they're kind of like keto for normies, when they started, they used artificial sweeteners, and they did, stuff like that, and lesser quality meats. But if you have watched them for 2 years like I have seen a transition. I've seen them kind of, and they'll still do it from time to time. It's not like they're totally against it, because they realize that it's a place to start, and it's even a place to be that's going to be way better than the current standard American diet. So, but there are shifts, and you kind of just naturally shift, and I have a lot of confidence around that. So, keto varies. Number 10, amazing doctors. Part of my story is the amazing doctors that I came in contact with early on. Dr. Jason Fung, number 1. I read his book, his fasting book, Complete Guide to Fasting. It's phenomenal, and it really gave me the confidence that I needed to move forward in fasting. So yeah, he is a great doctor. He's a nephrologist. He works with kidney health. He is helping people with type 2 diabetes get off of their medications and heal that diabetes and come away from it, getting off of other meds too. So he works very carefully with them. and their medications and helps them to move forward. So he's an amazing doctor. Number two, I just want to mention a couple, is Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg is the doctor through which I became a certified coach around keto and fasting, and he is a chiropractor. He's also an intense scientific researcher. He has done so much research, and on YouTube, he's one of the best teachers out there. He takes complex information and is able to convey it in short snippets and really teachable moments that that lay people, that the common person can understand. And he's a really good man. I really credit him. I really am so thankful for him and all of his videos. And then lastly, I just want to mention Dr. Westman. I met Dr. Westman at Dr. Berg's Keto Summit. And Dr. Westman is just an incredible, he's an internal medicine doctor. He is at Duke University, and he has been a part of leading a 20-year study on keto. And because everyone he's using in his study, compliance is, when you're doing a study and it's scientific, the compliance has to be there. So he is just doing a lazy, dirty version of keto. He's okay with that, and he has gotten great results with these people for 20 years. He's still following it, and he's just had a lot of success, and so I just credit him. That gave me a lot of confidence, too, to really just jump in and to do it full board. And I'm so thankful for him. And I could list many other doctors. I follow a number of people. I'm still researching, still learning. There are so many amazing people out there, that professionals that are teaching it. And there's so many testimonies out there of people's stories of going from pain to health, and in mental health, physical health, emotional health. It's incredible. It really is incredible. So I just wanted to share those 10 lessons that I've learned. They're big takeaways for me from this diet. I hope this helps you. Thank you for visiting. See you in my next video. Bye.